Hey, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 92nd episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we are talking about whether the world needs country music. Yes, you heard right. But before we dive deep,
okay,
a couple of questions, por favor. One, have you subscribed to WokeNFree on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, or even email? If not, please go to WokeNFree.com and subscribe away. Next, have you shared an episode with friends and family? If not, if you are a fan of country music, or if you are not a fan of country music, this is the conversation to be had all day, every day. Please share. It's going to be fun. It's going to get wild. It's going to get a little bit interesting, guys. So I hope you're ready for a party. Next, are you interested in talking to us on social media? Either you have breaking news, you have episode ideas, you have something really interesting to share, and you think this is the perfect platform for it. Please hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even YouTube at WokeNFree. Then, lastly, have you reviewed our show? Podcasts are about feedback. We definitely care what you think. So please go to iTunes or TuneIn or Stitcher or Google Play or SoundCloud or iHeartRadio or any of the other platforms we're on that you'll see on WokeNFree.com and review away.
Each week, we like to share a little bit about us before we dive into the topic for the episode. Last week, we shared, when you take a break from a book, do you bookmark or dog ear the page you were on? This week, we're sharing, if you could remote control your life, which button would you use? Rewind or pause?
So we've talked about The Secret on the show before, guys. If not, please, if you haven't listened to it, please go back and take a listen. I bring that up because for me, when I think about this question, the idea of rewind seems symbolic of living in the past. And if you are a practitioner of the law of attraction, you know that does you no good and is actually anti-secret. You have to be for the present and the future. What's behind you is behind you, right? A minute ago, past, it's done. Never more. So I would probably say pause because I think as just a life tool currently, sometimes we do have to pause. Sometimes we have to take mental health breaks. Sometimes we have to take breaks from social media. Sometimes we have to take breaks from each other in life. So pause to me seems like an effective button. Rewind seems like probably one of the reasons why many millions of people in this country are suffering unnecessarily. Your thoughts?
Oh, wow. I never even looked at it from that point of view.
Oh, okay.
But that's you took it on a different level. Like, I didn't think of it at that deep of a level. So I actually chose rewind because that's what's so funny. You said all this bad stuff about it's anti-secret, but I didn't think of it in terms of the secret of all. Okay. I just thought about it as like, you can use rewind just to kind of like change a situation, like how you approach the problem. So it's like, let's say you solved a situation in one way, you might have said, what if I did it this way? What could happen? So you can keep going back and changing changing how you approach a problem to see what the solution is. And I think that's kind of cool because you can gain perspective over it. It's kind of like to me, it's like a cheat thing that life doesn't even actually allow. Pause seems like you may be able to pause eventually in the future. Like that actually seems kind of like a feasible thing, but rewind seems just like really crazy because you open up these situations where any situation you have, you could be like, you know what, that situation happened this way, but what would occur if I had done it differently? It's like you could try different approaches to scenarios. And the classic one that I have to mention is that, and a lot of people would think about this, is you can win the lotto, right? Or maybe you'll win it. Or each time, if the numbers change, though, that'd be interesting. If the numbers did randomly change and you see that actually rewind doesn't work, so that would be funny. And also that'd be funny too if you rewind and you approach the scenario differently, but you end up at the same point in your life. like when, like kind of like what.
That's like that movie, that Run Lola Run situation, no?
Yeah, it's similar to that. But it'd be like if you go on an interview and maybe you didn't get the job. If you go back and do it a different way, you pretend to be something you're not, and you still don't get the job. It'd be like that.
Well, I still
you could do stuff like that.
That's
It'd be
like,
funny.
The thing about going back, to me, it just seems like I get that you get insight and perspective.
Yeah, so that's what I like about it.
But it also, to me, seems like you're not moving forward. That you keep going back, because what's to prevent you from never going forward and just keep going back? Yeah, you could get stuck too.
It's dangerous.
And so that's why I say forget about it. I mean, I know. Well, spoiler alert for Avengers Endgame.
Oh, this is a spoiler alert? Hold on. We're going to sound the alarms on this one. This is a spoiler alert. If you did not see Avengers, you could skip over 1 minute.
Seamos. So the only, interesting thing I would say about the rewind is in Avengers Endgame, Captain America goes back because they need to get back the stones where they originally took them from in the past. But instead of coming back, he decides to live in his past and actually live with the love of his life, since in reality, she actually just got old and he wasn't able to get back to her in time, if you know the whole story or whatever. But so I do think that that was an effective use of rewind kind of thing. But generally, I could just see people's obsession with going back and never really going forward. And, I don't know. What are you living for? The past or the present,
Yeah, that's a good point of view. I'm still choosing the rewind button.
I'm choosing the law of attraction.
I'm going to use law of attraction with the rewind, and it's going to be really superb. That's why I like to have that. It makes an unstoppable force. It depends.
What you would do.
You know what?
You would go back in time, and you would find
it has to be in the right hands.
You would find Rhonda Byrne when she was writing The Secret, and then you would go back further, and before she wrote it, you would write it.
I could write it. Yeah, see. I know, that's what's the thing. I mean, hopefully the rewind, I
feel like people would erase other.
No, but here's the thing, though.
It's like, goodbye, Facebook. It is now MySpace.
Think about it, though. The rewind button will probably have a limit. If it was unlimited, you could rewind yourself before you had the power to rewind. Because did you have the rewind for your whole life? So that's the thing. I mean, if you have it for your whole life, you're okay. But imagine if it happened at a certain age. So I would think the rewind and even the pause is not like, I'm going to pause for a century. Yeah, there's going to be a limitation. So the rewind
unless you're
would be
Avatar.
Limited. No, that makes sense. I mean, Avatar the cartoon, yes.
Yes.
Not Avatar the movie, though. And not Avatar the $1 billion seller that got blew out by Avengers. Because there's so many avatars, right? There's different avatars.
Yes.
Alright, but I think we've got enough about time travel and stuff and spoilers. The spoilers are done, though, by the way. We're going to the episode now. Mm-hmm. Is country music popular, and why?
So, country music is popular. According to CBS News, there's some interesting stats to share. Country and rock are America's favorite music genres, according to a recent CBS News poll. The country registering as a favorite for 21% of poll respondents, and rock for 18%. And the 3% difference is within the poll's margin of error. Then they are followed by popular music of 14%, classical 10%, R&B or soul 9%, hip-hop or rap 7%, jazz 7%, Christian or gospel 5%. According to the poll, men have a slight preference for rock, while women prefer country and pop music. There are age differences too. Americans under 65 are split, but for those 65 and older, rock comes in fourth place at 8%. Behind country, 33%, classical 16%, popular music 12%. And while white Americans prefer country, 26%, and rock, 21%, as their top two choices, African Americans prefer R&B or soul, 30%, followed by jazz, 13%, and then rap or hip hop, 9%. So why is country popular? More information. I found it on the circular.org. They reference, on Forbes magazine, Nielsen reported a strong correlation between country music and sports. 71% of country fans surveyed said sports are important to them. There's plenty of country music to be found in the football season with Garth Brooks' song, Pure Adrenaline, the kickoff track for SEC football games on CBS. Brad Paisley finished his second annual Country Nation College Tour, and Granger Smith's alter ego, Earl Dibbles Jr., gets in on the fun with his popular Dip M and Pick 'em video series. Wow. Straight Outta Compton conquered the box office with $60.2 million gross, but one area that it couldn't dominate with is the country star Luke Bryan with his album The Kill the Lights. Luke Bryan conquered the #1 album spot with 320,000 in pure album sales. Kill the Lights spot posts the third largest sales week according to this article in 2015, following Drake's "If You're Reading This Two's" late, 535,000 equivalent units, including 495,000 album sales.
So rap sold more. Then Kill the Lights. Okay.
And then Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, 363,000 equivalent units, including 324,000 album sales. So, I think for me, I think I think country resonates with different populations and cultures in our country. We have a big Midwestern culture. We have, country that speaks to Cali. It's not necessarily as big, I would say, probably on the Northeast, because it's just culturally different than how Northerners operate, upper northern side of the country. But I think it works well for like Virginia, the Carolinas, Florida. I just think that if you look at how our country is built and the types of lifestyles people are living, country speaks to it and is a part of it. And so that's why I think it's popular.
All right. Well, I look at the Billboard Top 100 as of is currently, and I actually only see a few country songs on there. And that includes God's Country by Blake Shelton and Whiskey Glasses by Morgan Wallen, which currently are at 24 and 25 respectively. Interestingly, the song Old Town Road by Lil Nas X is not considered a country song anymore, even though it is a country style song. The song has a mix of like a banjo kind of playing in the background and a trap beat, and it went viral, by the way. Yeah. So I think that's why people the country purists at least, they don't like it, because when they hear that trap beat, they're like, oh, this is that rap crap stuff. So that they hear that and like, it's not country. But it's funny because the guy is singing in a country style kind of twang. Yeah. And it does have a little hints of country, and the lyrics are all about the country style and being a cowboy. So I just think it's funny that Billboard just delisted the song from the country top.
But I think that what's interesting is with that is, that pure, I think you're right. The country purists definitely are kind of just being shysty about the process, because it was a country song. Just because it's a modern country or a country blend doesn't mean it's any less country. That's like, if you like extrapolate that and have mixed people, you're not one because you're something else. Like, whatever's a part of something is a part of it. So I think if you use country elements, it's a country song, as well as it being a hip-hop song. Especially
when the remix has Billy Ray Cyrus on it.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. There's a reason
I
for
think that probably was fueled by
the artist, and the artist also is black. I'll point that out.
And some maybe hidden issues with having, because it isn't necessarily dominated by a multitude of races, but y'all know who dominates country. Yeah. So,
but there are many races that participate in country.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm going to surprise the WokeNFree Nation with some nice surprises about the country that exists around the world, actually.
All right, but before you blow people's minds, does the world need country music?
This is where it gets interesting. The first question, though, you got to ask is, does the world even need music before going to country music? And I think most people will agree that that's a resounding yes. We do need music. We're like the birds who sing to each other. We like the sound of music and how it makes us feel. It gives us a certain kind of energy. It fuels us. Like, not everybody's so into music, but in some form or another, everyone's heard music and they've used it to pass by the time. Yep. If you're on the elevator or something, sometimes at the gas station, they'll play music. Yeah, people have headphones. That's a whole big industry. All of our phones are built around music. I mean, come on. Music is definitely important. So now let's think about country, though, music. And like you were saying, it depends on the people, really, when you think about, does the world need country? And if you just go by what's popular, then it might not seem absolutely necessary, because it's like pop music. What's that South Korean explosion? Yeah, what's the name? The BTK? I don't know their name. Yeah. We don't know them, but there's the big boy group from South Korea. They're doing so great, and their pop music, and that's like, wow, that's the number one thing. That's the popular thing. You wouldn't think that country's necessary, but actually this Wide Open Country article said that there's multitude of countries that actually have a country music culture. And I'm going to list them in order of least to greatest, and I'll talk about some interesting things that I saw in the article. The number 9 was Belgium. Next was Iran. Wow, who would have thought? Iran has a country music scene. Argentina. UK.
Mi bueno.
And India now actually has a country music scene. Isn't that kind of interesting?
I mean, that makes sense to like capitalize on that. Yeah, that makes sense. They're smart. Bollywood is smart.
And there's actually some Bollywood films that have that. I've never seen them, but they're country infused. Like, I didn't know. There's like a whole, like, there's a media industry around this. Ireland is another country that has the country music scene. Czech Republic is another one. Canada's number 2.
Blake is he?
I don't know, but yeah, there are a lot of country stars that are from
Canada.
Yeah, there are a lot of Canadians, and then you may not know this, but the number 1 place besides we know U.S. has it is Australia, and it actually draws its roots from Irish and British folk ballads, just like the U.S. It actually doesn't. They don't follow our trends like most of these other countries. They learned about country from the U.S. But Australia actually it was grassroots. They have their own country scene that was started there.
That's cool.
And they do have a lot of artists. The artists that are popular there are from Australia. That it's not like they're all listening to like Blake Shelton, and even I think Dolly Parton is big there because that's like classic country.
Yeah.
But they're not listening to all the big country stars that we know of. They're listening to their Australian stars. And gotcha. I've never heard Australian country music, but apparently it's its own thing.
You never will.
You've got that right, sister.
Exactly. So there was an article that I found on theeconomist.com that talked about kind of how in 2003 the Dixie Chicks kind of discovered how unforgiving the country world could be because they had a song called Travelin' Soldier, which was a song about a young man sent to fight in Vietnam who never comes back. Natalie Maines, the lead singer, shared her feelings about the looming war with Iraq with an audience in London. And she said, "We do not want this war, this violence. And we're ashamed of that. We're ashamed that the president of the United States is from Texas." Her words were written up in a review of the show, and then within a few days, a huge swath of the band's American fan base was boycotting its music. And then some DJs refused to play their songs on air. And so the article, and it's just like a summary. You have to like actually have a subscription to read the full article. But the story of Dixie Chicks became a cautionary tale in Nashville, the capital of country music. It served as a warning to respect the music's conservative values. Its folk was the music of protest, then country was the music for those who fly the flag. Many of the protagonists of commercial country radio drink beer, drive a pickup, go to church, and support the troops and the Second Amendment. And so, I think what's interesting about that, and if you have the full access to the article, you can, read more. But I think that music, like any genre, is an opportunity to speak your truth and to share and bring awareness to things that are troubling you or troubling your country or troubling your community. And I think country is possibly, maybe embodies certain values that certain people in this country have. And that's why it's not only necessary, but it's, it's mandated and it's needed. And if you try to even change it, like add trap music to it, people will shut you down or maybe go against traditional country views. American views of,
it's actually American views.
War, yeah, baby, that you might really get shut down. So yeah, I think it's needed, and I think it's a form of expression that is deeply celebrated in this country and, as you shared, across the world, actually.
Now, what is the impact of country music?
So on wideopencountry.com, there's a beautiful paragraph that I found. So the true heart of country still lies in bold, honest storytelling and musical authenticity. The artists who become true country legends can convey those feelings and emotions with an acoustic guitar or an electronic drum pad. If the industry continues to become more open and accepting of artistic experimentation, it will benefit both listeners and artists alike. So the impact of country music, I think, is it feeds the souls of those who consume it, those who make it, those who dabble in it and spread it. And I think that it lends for a space for needed experimentation, because I think country is more traditional of our music genres. And so I think it definitely is
traditional in one sense.
Traditional in the sense of like gun-toting, church.
Oh, the values you're saying, all right.
Like traditional American values.
Yeah, all right.
But I think that it's a space that needs revolution. It's a space that it needs to open up and accept and promote other people, not just white males or white females. And I think that it is So it supports kind of white patriarchy. It supports white traditional American values. Wow. Well, because it's promoting those makers of it, right? Yeah. If you constantly just see white men singing and playing guitars, then like it kind of promotes white American culture in one lens, in one viewpoint. And is that really good overall for our country? Because I think it's an issue, but
because they don't have like country music about different gendered people or anything. They don't talk about.
I mean, we don't see it. Now. You know, I know one black country music artist, and I know there are more than one black.
There's more because even Babyface was doing country music.
Yeah, so I don't. So yeah, so but the problem is, I think how it's presented in media, it's white males and white females. That's all you see, and I don't think that's solidifying our country. I don't think that's unifying us. I think it's promoting white. A maleness in our country.
And so just going back to even what I said is funny because how come we're not showing like the Indian artists? How come we're not seeing the world country? They never we don't see that at all.
Speak to your
like at the festival. I mean, I don't know a lot about country, but I'd never heard of the Indian country artists.
Well, yeah, I've never heard it. I never knew that India had. I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense when you get into it. They can have it, but how come there's none of their artists make it their way over here? Why isn't it? Seems like it's a little bit shut off
because
you can go into our other musical genres, and we have tons of people from around the world, tons of DJs that make their way into pop music over here, make their way to electronica music, make their way to hip hop. We have a ton of that, but how come country? It's very few. We have like Canadians, but we're not seeing many people from other different countries. Iranian people, we haven't seen anybody there.
If you're not white and male, or you're not white and female, that you are not going to be accepted here.
Maybe that's what it is.
And so it's essentially
the country purists may get mad, right, and be like, "This isn't real country."
This is too different. This is so experimentation is needed, guys, and not the sexy way, in the musical genre way.
Okay, all right, well. How has country music played a role in your life specifically?
So personally, country music has been a friend of mine for many years. I have found deep comfort. I have found joy from the beautiful words and the melodies that I've listened to. Growing up, guys, I didn't really have a lot of friends. I didn't really feel accepted in my community, in my family, and in my world. But music was always there for me, right? There, I could go and I could listen to Whitney Houston. I could listen to the Dixie Chicks. I could listen to Maxwell. I could listen to the Temptations. Music has always made me feel alive. It has always made me feel creative and beautiful and limitless. And so I think for me, when I've listened to country music, I have just found it to be such a beautiful art form of storytelling that I haven't heard in other genres of music. And so it excited me, it riveted me, and it also made me excited to want to explore more traditional American, like when I listen to country, it makes me want to like get on a horse. It makes me want to get like cowboy boots. It makes me want to experience
riding on a tractor.
Yeah, like to be in a different type of American, right? To not be the traditional New Yorker that I have been in my life.
Right,
so it has like led me to want to be a broader Natasha. How about you?
All right. Well, let's go to the polar opposite in this case.
Indeed.
It played zero role in my life. I like very few country songs. I can actually count them on my hand, I believe.
Go figure.
Yeah, I mean, but at least I do like some. It's literally not. I don't have a bias against the genre. I don't have a bias against the genre. I like all music in general, but for some reason, country music doesn't resonate with me. I do wholeheartedly like the sound of Hootie and the Blowfish, I'll say, by the way. I like all their music. I definitely do. But the thing with country is I'm not into like the country twang of most of the singers.
Traditional.
I don't like that sound. Like that sounds
country. Yeah.
It's off-putting to me. It's like I'm not into that, and I don't like the melodies either. The melodies are kind of like and listen to me. I like my rock music. I like my heavy metal.
God, yes, you do.
Heavy metal is so great. Like the beats are very thunderous, and it really moves your soul. Like it's you really feel it. Yep. Country music, I don't get that. And then I know you like the stories that they tell, but to me, country music lyrically is very simplistic. It's so straightforward and it's not very complex. They don't. It's kind of like it's just like saying a sentence. Lyrics, yeah. Like, I rode my tractor and my baby left me. It's like stuff like that.
And that's so beautiful because so much of rap is so not
You're saying rap,
comprehensible, or other music is so
even
like,
metal, like they'll talk about real issues that they're having, like they may be struggling with drug problems,
it's a preference
and how
thing,
how they will rhyme and how they sound. I don't know. It
depends on what you're. I
Lyrically,
like simple storytelling.
they still
like
are more
sitting by
complex.
the fire, roasting marshmallows, and just simple.
Most of the other music,
very relaxing.
They make like kind of comparisons. They're not going to straight out tell you that. They'll make a comparison to something and say something is this.
I don't want to think that.
But you have to actually think about it. Like, what are they really saying? Like, it's like that.
I want it nice and easy.
It's never straightforward. Like, you're not like listening to a song.
I want a straight music.
And they're like, I'm grabbing me a beer. I'm gonna drink it now.
Let's not be offensive.
I'm not trying to be, but really, that's my problem with country is it doesn't resonate.
A fan, and that's where you stand.
Yeah, it doesn't resonate.
And there, I rhyme just for you.
Yeah, see, and then there's country songs that don't even rhyme. I mean, come on now.
You are a hot mess.
I don't know. It doesn't resonate with me. That's great that some people it does, but it doesn't do it for me.
WokeNFree Nation, forgive him.
That's the thing. It doesn't. And I'm not the only one.
Oh, of course you're not alone.
But it's the only genre really. Every other genre I'm okay with. So I'm not like I'm closed off to music. Because some people they only have their one genre. I'm open to music. I will say that.
Word. I
am open because I'll listen to stuff you don't listen to.
Don't throw me under the bus.
Come on, you don't listen to polka. See?
I think the time for this conversation has come to an end.
Okay, let's not air out the dirty laundry anymore.
Yes.
All right, well then, here we go, yo. Oh, actually, here we go, yo. Here we go.
No offensiveness.
All right, it's scenario time, guys, because this lady wants to start the scenarios.
Si, senor.
Scenario 1. Clementine was raised in Tennessee and has the classic country twang in her voice when she sings. She is an artist that plays the banjo, sings, and uses some calypso sounds in all her songs, but without any hint of a Caribbean accent. Is she a country artist or a pop artist?
You're a fool.
For what?
Clementine.
Remember, you used Clementine in that game you're playing, the Walking Dead game. That was a Clementine.
You're a Clementine.
Doesn't Clementine actually seem kind of like a country kind of sounding name though?
Isn't it a fruit?
No, it's a name. I mean, it's a fruit too, but it's a real name. People do name their girls this. You thought this is her name. You forgot. People do get our name
from
Clementine.
Tennessee. Yep.
I said Tennessee. I don't know, but
you were thinking Alabama.
Kentucky.
Oh, good
Come
Lord.
on now.
Oh Lord. And Calypso. What are you even saying?
It could have been that this happens every day, probably somewhere in Tennessee.
In your mind, yes.
No, you're saying that they just don't want to release their music. They're scared.
So, like I said earlier, if something is part something, then it's a part of the whole, right? So, I think if you incorporate different genres in your song, then it would be ludicrous to when you go to those individual genres and not claim that song. If it's country and calypso, both a fusion of both, then it is both a country and a Caribbean song. So both record listening in both genres need to report them as such.
So then if it topped the charts, should it be on the top country charts and the top Caribbean charts, or should it only be on
it's not one or
the top pop
nothing
charts?
In life is one-sided. So I would say it should be able to hit the billboards of both. It should be a country hit and a Caribbean hit. And I think that if, when it comes to her identifier, is she a country artist or a pop artist? I think it's going to depend on what's organic and authentic to her. I think, a country artist has certain, I guess, stereotypes or expectations that will come with that industry. And so if she's comfortable with that, then she can identify as that. If she's not comfortable with that and she wants to be more neutral or less exclusionary, then maybe she goes the pop artist. So it's really going to depend on how she wants to present herself and how she feels she'll be received. And then also whether she gives a damn, right? Like about what other people are thinking. Sometimes we get so caught up with, oh my God, what do they think about me? Who gives a Simos? Like, do you live your life and have a Coke with it? I mean, I'm tired of the judgment, guys. It's too much.
All right. Well, for me, it's a little more clear cut. I think she's a country artist. because everything she does is country. All she does is she uses a little bit of calypso sound.
Okay.
She's like 2/3 the country. She's a country
So
artist.
it's mostly country. Okay.
Yeah, so I would just say she's a country artist, and to me that wraps that up.
Well, hopefully the billboards would see it as a...
Yeah, billboards win it because they just do their funny business, but they actually should see her as a country artist. But they're not the end all say all on what music is. So
True that.
like you said, she can be whatever she wants when it comes down to it.
Life.
She can call herself whatever she wants.
She could be an alien from Mars.
But I'm just saying what I would call her, and I would class her as country artist. Like, I would go into, if I had her music and I bought a CD, I would change it to country if it said pop.
I love that you said CD. You're like showing your...
Because no, the problem is with streaming music, I can't go and change the genre or anything. I gotta just go with what they go with. But on your old music, when you rip the disc, you can write whatever you want. So you can write she's a country artist.
First
Such
world
quaint
issues.
times.
Yeah.
Those are quaint times. You get to choose your genres.
World issues. Yep.
You could put new age music too. See, they don't put that.
Bravo, bravo.
Okay, let's get it together for the next.
There you go.
I don't know if that will make it.
I'll just keep doing it over and over and over again.
We'll see about this.
Yep.
Scenario 2. Jolene and Leanne are sisters who grew up in an urban jungle but have listened to country music ever since they knew where their noses were. After listening to so many songs, they have decided to move to the southeast to experience the country lifestyle. Does this make sense, or should they reconsider their move?
First of all.
There's a first of all. There's a first of all. Let's
Jolene.
hear it. Yeah.
Jolene. Oh, Jolene. Get your life, Khalil. Get your life.
You know.
And Leanne, like Leanne Rhymes.
Oh, is that where that comes from? Wow. Leanne's a good country name, though.
Yes, and she was a great country star.
It's a good country name.
Is, yeah.
It's a good country name.
Where their noses are.
Yeah, see, they found out.
Shout out to Sex and the City.
Is that where that comes
from?
That's not something that my wife made up?
No, Charlotte calls Miranda because she is caught having sex by Miranda's son, and she says, Charlotte, it's okay, he doesn't know where his nose is.
Oh. That's not a Natasha phrase, then.
That is a Sex in the City
Seems like a Natasha reference.
Adapted by the one and only Natasha. Shout out to myself.
Oh, see, exactly. I knew it. Natasha phrase.
And the Southeast, what were you referring to? The Carolinas, Florida?
Of course, every place in the Southeast.
Okay.
Every place. Well, yeah, they haven't decided specifically which state, but somewhere in the Southeast.
Given that we're moving to Arizona, woohoo! Arizona, I hope you're ready for WokeNFree. I advocate everyone to move, so.
Oh, wow. So we'll see the bias in this answer.
Get out of Dodge. Just get up and leave.
All right.
So if they deeply are interested in the country lifestyle, I think they should totally move. And, they'll figure it out. They'll figure out if they like it or not. And if they don't like it, guess what? You can always move back. That's the funny thing about life that people don't understand. They're so set in their ways, and it's one thing or nothing, and the highway. If you move and you don't like it, you move somewhere else. Get a grip. So
good point there.
Move and enjoy your country living and have a good beer while you're at it too.
All right.
Your choice.
That's a fair. I like that. What you went with. Mm-hmm. I would say, to me, I think they should at least visit, though. That's just my thing.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Instead of just, looking on a map and just saying, we're going here, because this
it's
music sings about it.
They just move.
Because they're basing it just because they love the music, but they've never even seen it for themselves. They haven't even seen it.
You should always vacation, yeah.
Yeah, I would say try to see it at least once, just to see what's even there.
Well, yeah, we saw Austin, and no, we would not move there.
Yeah, so it's like that. If they wanted to go to Austin, they can try that out. They can go there and see if they like it. If they want to do they may want the Midwest more. So they don't know. So definitely visit some places before they move. Mm-hmm. That's my advice. Scenario 3. Paisley is a superb violinist who reproduces all popular country songs on her violin. She has built up a social media following and thinks maybe she can make this into a full-time career touring the country and performing the same songs. Should she go forward with her passion, or is the risk not worth the possible rewards?
Paisley, really?
I know, that's a good one, too. Some good names here.
You are funny.
Do you know you've known a Paisley, possibly?
I do know Paisley. But, so, again, the entrepreneur in me says go for it, right? Because, again, your life hopefully, if you're blessed, is going to go very quickly, and you're going to have, your first year 0, then you're 2, then you're 22, then you're 102, and you ask where all the time went. So if she's interested in becoming an artist and traveling the country and playing her songs, I think she should try to be smart about it in the sense of, monetizing what she can monetize. If you are going to go on tour, selling t-shirts, selling your music, maybe even getting other people to showcase before you, selling tickets, right? Like making sure that you financially line up this tour in a way that's not going to bankrupt you. But if you can do it, if you can swing it, if this is something that will move her soul, isn't it better to try and live, even if she doesn't succeed in the way that she wants, than to never do it and always wonder and hate your life because you didn't do this one thing? Life's too short. Just do it.
Yeah, I think she definitely needs to go forward with it. And the WokeNFree Nation would guess that we both would agree with that, based on how we've answered past scenarios about people trying a new thing and just going forward full throttle with it. So
be badass.
Definitely we think you can do it, and we practitioners of the secret. So if she believes it, it'll be successful, she can do it.
Guys, if you want to take one thing from this show, we absolutely believe that thoughts become things. And if you believe in yourself, you can make yourself do many, many things. But if you don't and you live in fear, don't get mad when you're sitting home by yourself eating ice cream, listening to things from people who are living extraordinary lives and you're not. You make your choice, man. Like, make your choice.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do. Can't nobody tell you nothing.
I wish I knew a country phrase because I would say it right now.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
You're so offensive.
That's a country phrase.
You are so offensive.
Didn't I just do a country phrase right there? How's that offensive? How's that mocking? That's me living the lifestyle. Like a cowboy.
You're living the lifestyle.
You know what's cool? I'm going to get my cowboy hat and you're not going to say nothing to me.
Well, I'm going to get my cow and my horse and my my llama, and we'll see what you have to say.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Oh, so nice.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we're done making noises.
Oh, is that what this is? All right.
Sometimes we revert to that because we're that unique that we literally just lose the sight of language and we go.
Well, we invent new languages. Isn't that how language is born? So.
WokeNFree, WokeNFree, WokeNFree! We are at that time again.
Good singing.
Oh, I try. Whitney, I'm coming for you, baby. It is coming to the end of our 92nd episode of
WokeNFree.
Sweet Jesus, this was quite the episode discussing whether the world needs country music or not. And if you listen to the episode, you know where we stand. But guess what? We don't know. We don't know where you stand on it. So come on in and put in the comment section what you think about the show and what you think about our terrible country accents.
Sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas. I'm not even with you. Like, I'm not. No, absolutely not, Clementine. You stay there.
Okay. Come on.
Will I leave you hanging, Jolene, for what our next episode will be about? Drum roll, please.
On our next episode, we'll be judging who had the best country accent. Just kidding.
You're a fool.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be funny?
You literally just want to sit here and laugh. That's amazing.
That would be interesting.
That's just a Friday night for us, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Instead, we're going to discuss, do you need religion to be successful? Ooh, make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you want to be guests on the show, submit a topic for an upcoming episode or share how you feel on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That is WokeNFree.com. If you want to hit us up on social media, you can always find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at WokeNFree. And then if you are interested in sponsoring an upcoming episode, hitting us up for a sponsorship deal or endorsement deal, all of that good jazz, hit us up on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do. Share the episode, and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokeNFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokeNFree is more than a podcast, it is a way of life. Until next time.
Hell yes.